Hi everyone, this is Lenore Khoubesserian with Medicare 101. Today we have a lot to talk about. Here's our agenda. This webinar is for folks who are turning 65, those getting ready to go on Medicare after being on an employer group health plan, and for those folks under 65, maybe they went on disability looking for information about Medicare. Today we're going to talk about what is Medicare, the original parts of Medicare, A and B, how you get Medicare, when to enroll in Medicare, when does it start, the major exposures of Medicare and what you can do about it, what your coverage options are with Medicare, the difference between Medicare Supplement and Medicare Advantage plans. We're going to talk about Part D, prescription drugs. We're going to talk about what Medicare does not cover and what you can do about it. Some common myths about Medicare, and we have a bonus at the end, how to protect your savings in retirement. Before we get started, I do want to introduce myself. I'm Lenore Khoubesserian. I've been helping people figure out insurance for over 30 years. That's me at the Jackson Hole Diner in New York. They have the most incredible hamburgers if you've never been there, and I was hanging out with Betty Boop. So in any case, outside of hanging out with Betty Boop, I've worked in the field of human resources for companies like Coca-Cola, Kraft Foods, Entenmann's, Gray Bar Electric. I've been a business professor. I have an MBA, a business coach, a team builder, and a small business owner. In the past 15 years, I've dedicated my time helping people understand Medicare, their retirement options. I really, truly enjoy this, taking the scare out of going on Medicare. This is what I believe I was meant to do. Here are some of our clients. You're going to see some pictures of clients. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of our clients' stories so that you can understand Medicare a little bit better. But you'll be able to check us out on our website, MedicareAuthority.gov. You can go to my Facebook page. You can also go to Google. We have likely over 500 five-star reviews. You can hear what other people are saying about us so that you can kind of vet us out. We're going to start with what Medicare is. A lot of times people are confused just about this very topic. It has been in place since 1965. It has evolved. It's different than the way we understand health insurance. But very simply, Medicare is federal health insurance for people 65 and over. We all eventually go on Medicare. There is Medicare for people under 65 if they have certain disabilities like permanent kidney failure, Lou Gehrig's, maybe they went on disability prior to age 65, they become eligible for Medicare within 24 months. Original Medicare is where it all starts. Again, this started in 1965. Medicare is broken up into parts. No matter what we do, we're signing up for Part A and Part B. Eventually, we're going to have both. Part A is covering facility charges. They call it hospital coverage. There is no monthly cost for Part A. Part B is your medical or doctor coverage, and this does have a monthly cost of about $185 a month. It could be higher based on income. It could be lower if you get some type of subsidy. But in general, this is the 2025 cost of Medicare, $185 a month. Now, Medicare is broken up into parts. As I said, Part A is hospital coverage. It will cover you while you are in a hospital facility or in a skilled nursing facility. So it's not just hospital, it's also skilled nursing short term. It's going to cover semi-private room and board, operating and recovery room, intensive care, general nursing service while you're in the facility. It's going to cover x-rays, lab tests, drugs, medical supplies, appliances, and rehab services while you're in the hospital or skilled nursing facility. It will not cover the actual doctor fees, private duty nursing, private room unless that's medically necessary. It also won't cover while you're in the facility personal conveniences, radio, TV, or telephone, or long-term care, which we'll get into in a little bit. So Part B is where most of your services will fall. And this is known as medical or doctor services. It'll cover your doctors, your specialists, all your diagnostic tests, things like CAT scans, MRIs, immunosuppressant drugs, drugs administered in a doctor's office, like radiation chemotherapy in a facility, will fall under B, medical. Anesthesiologist fees, surgeon fees, emergency room, hospital, clinic, and urgent care, physical and occupational therapy, medical supplies, x-rays, lab tests, radiology received as an outpatient, ambulance, and durable medical equipment such as wheelchairs, oxygen, and braces. Sometimes people are surprised that Medicare itself does not give you enough coverage. Here's some of the things that it does not cover. It doesn't cover dental. No routine exams. Also, that is confusing for folks. Medicare covers preventative, but they don't cover what we understand as a routine exam. Not covering routine foot care unless you're diabetic, eyeglasses or eye exams for near or farsightedness, ear exams, oral or cosmetic surgery, no health care while you're traveling outside of the country, services that are not medically necessary, first aid, and again, eyeglasses, hearing aids, those are not covered under Medicare Part A or B. How do you get Medicare? Well, there are 3 different scenarios. If you have a pen and paper, you're going to want to write down your particular scenario. And if you haven't already done so, you can click on the link below, create an appointment, and we can go over some of this with you. Scenario 1 is you're receiving Social Security benefits. Scenario 2, not receiving Social Security benefits. Scenario 3 is still working. So this is the easiest scenario, scenario 1. If you currently receive Social Security benefits, or if you are receiving Social Security before turning 65, you will automatically be enrolled in Medicare Part A and B. You'll receive your Medicare red, white, and blue card about 3 months before you turn 65, and the premium for Medicare will come right out of your Social Security check, and that's either the base amount or higher depending on income. Scenario 2 is where a lot of folks fall. Maybe they're not getting Social Security benefits. Although Social Security and Medicare are linked, you don't have to have them together. So if you want to have Medicare and you don't have Social Security, you simply have to initiate your enrollment. The easiest way to do that is to go online to ssa.gov. You can also set a phone appointment or go down to the office in person. Now, you will be mailed your bill. The bill will come quarterly, so this is somewhat of a sticker shock for people. They'll get their first bill. It'll be for 3 months, which is $185 times 3, $555. You can go ahead and set that up online. You'll get a letter from Social Security telling you that. The easiest way to sign up for Medicare is by going online, and we have a video that can go over that with you. So scenario 3 is those folks who are still working. Maybe they have coverage under the employer plan. You can choose to go on Medicare if you like, or you can choose to stay on the employer plan. And one of the biggest mistakes we see is that folks think, oh, I'm still working, I don't need to go on Medicare. What we like to do is compare the cost of being on Medicare with the cost of being on the employer group health plan. And when I say cost, it's not just the monthly cost, but your out-of-pocket exposures and all the other things that go with Medicare. So you become eligible at age 65. If you're still working, yes, you can delay, but we like to do a cost analysis. So if this is you, you can click below, and we're happy to do that. Click below to schedule an appointment if you don't have one, for us to do a side-by-side comparison. When does Medicare start? It always starts the first day of the month. So a lot of times people will say, well, my work plan is ending this day. You can't start Medicare in the middle of the month. If you're signing up at age 65, it starts the first day of the month that you turn 65. If you sign up after your 65th birthday, it'll start the first day of the month. If you're signing off after coming off a group health plan, then we can actually ask for a specific start date. So if you're not sure about when it all should start, again, this is something that we can help you navigate in general. Medicare will start the first day of the month of your birthday. There are major exposures of Medicare. So this is often confused by people. They somehow think the only thing they need to do is sign up for Medicare. Medicare doesn't cost anything. They don't realize that Medicare does not cover everything. And it was never meant to do that. So there are expenses that you will have to pay out of pocket. And that's why we want to go through some of the risks with you so you know what your exposures are with Medicare. So let's start with Original Medicare. Everybody's going to sign up for A and B at some point, whether it's when you're 65 or you delay. Part A and B, we all have it. Currently, we have a deductible with Part A. So if you're hospitalized, that's about $1,700 every time you're admitted. So that's going to cover room and board. And then if you're in a skilled nursing facility, you get up to 20 days in a skilled nursing facility. After that, you're paying copays. Part B, which is your medical or doctor coverage, has a small deductible of $257 for the year. Medicare pays 80%. You're responsible for 20% with no limit. Also, there's something known as a Part B excess charge. A provider who does not accept assignment from Medicare can upcharge you 15% over the Medicare allowable cost. So let's use an example. I have had hip surgery and that was $100,000. If I just simply had A and B of Medicare, I know I was hospitalized for one day, I would have that $1,600 deductible for my hospital stay. If I didn't meet my $257 deductible for the year, I'd be responsible for that. And then Medicare is going to pay 80% of my bill of that $100,000, and I'm going to be responsible for 20%. There's no cap on that 20%, and all the care I receive afterwards, such as my physical therapy, my follow-up doctor visits, I'm paying 20% for it all. So what can we do about that? Well, really, we have two options. We call them two roads, two paths: Medicare Supplement versus Advantage. This is a little chart. We're going to choose one or the other. One isn't better than the other. They're just different. No matter what we do, we're signing up for A and B of Medicare, and we are still paying our Medicare B premium. On the left, we have Original Medicare, and we're adding on a Medicare Supplement plan, also called Medigap, with a Part D drug plan. On the right, we have Medicare Part C, which combines hospital, medical, and prescription drugs. So let's compare them a little bit more deeply. Again, on the left, we have the Medicare Supplement, which is typically going to have a monthly cost. Well, it will have a monthly cost on top of Medicare. But what this type of plan does is it gives you low out-of-pocket exposure. It will typically cover 100% of your hospital stay, and the 20% Medicare doesn't cover. In addition, when you choose to have Original Medicare with a supplement plan, you can choose your doctor. You don't have to worry about networks. There's really no referrals because Medicare is a federal program. Medicare is paying the bill first, and then the supplemental plan supplements and pays the bill second. We definitely want to add on a Part D drug plan here when we choose this option. Medicare Advantage plan, on the other hand, will likely have a low monthly premium with higher out-of-pocket costs. So you're going to pay when you see your doctor, if you're hospitalized, if you need medical tests, you need prior authorizations for most things, and you may need a referral. So in this particular option, you're saving on the front end the premium, but you have to remember that you will have out-of-pocket expenses when you use the plan. Not every doctor or hospital takes these Advantage plans. Every plan is different. We have usually around 40 to 80 plans offered in each market, and this really depends on zip code. Plans will typically include your prescription and some extra benefits, and will have an out-of-pocket maximum, which is very important. So if you choose a Medicare Advantage plan, you're paying as you go up to an out-of-pocket maximum, which is hovering around $7,500 for in-network services and about $12,000 for in and out combined. So no matter what we do, we know there are risks or exposures to Medicare. And this is one of my amazing clients. Unfortunately, he did pass away from cancer. And we always recommend some type of cancer, heart attack, or stroke coverage, simply because even with the Medicare supplement or the Medicare Advantage plan, there are still some exposures, and we can talk about those a little bit more deeply. But these kind of plans will pay a flat payment to you for transportation to and from a doctor. Maybe you have a loved one who's caring for you, missing work. It can pay for some expensive experimental treatments, maybe not covered by Medicare, or even some very expensive medications that you might be taking covered under Medicare. So this is one of the reasons why we recommend adding on the additional policy. We also have the options to add on what's known as a skilled nursing coverage or skilled nursing coverage. Again, these are some of our amazing clients right here. Amazing, and I use that word because my client said it all the time. And unfortunately, she developed dementia, and her husband is taking care of her. And it is a very sad scenario. Medicare does not cover skilled nursing or home health care for long periods of time. If you had to go into a skilled nursing facility, you're covered for the first 20 days. 21 through 100, you're paying over $200 a day for each day. If you're in there more than 100 consecutive days, a skilled facility, you're paying the full cost to be there. Now, this is the Medicare and You book. This is the 2025 version. We always say we want to get it right from the horse's mouth. You look at page 28, find out what Medicare covers. Highlighted in yellow, a lot of folks don't realize this, but Medicare does cover skilled nursing facility after a 3-day minimum of hospital stay. So it's not like you just check into that nursing facility. You need a prescription from your doctor. You need to minimally be in the hospital for 3 days and then discharge into the skilled nursing facility. So there are some qualifications for this. So not only does it limit the amount of time you can be in a facility, you have to actually transition in from a hospital. And I will share my father-in-law's story with you. My father-in-law, Andy, unfortunately, went on to Medicare before age 65, disabled, had a lot of medical issues. He took a fall in his house and had a broken foot, was hospitalized for 3 weeks, an infection. They finally cleared that up and they were able to operate on his foot. When he was ready to be discharged from the hospital, he couldn't go home, so he went into a skilled nursing facility. And he was in that facility for 92 days. He had a Medicare supplement plan. That's what we chose for him because he has a lot of medical needs, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But with him, the skilled nursing facility was pushing us to have him stay longer. So we were like, no, he's coming home. We took him home with us and we were able to do the follow-up care. But he transitioned from a hospital stay into a skilled nursing facility. And fortunately, because we did have a Medicare supplement plan, we didn't pay anything for him to be in that skilled nursing facility. So we have umbrella options. We really recommend choosing one of the umbrellas. Umbrella 3 is our Cadillac or our highest coverage umbrella. It's going to have your Medicare plan, your prescription drug plan, include that cancer, heart attack, stroke, extra, add in a dental vision if you need hearing, may include a hospital plan and a recovery plan, which is what somebody like my father-in-law, Andy, needed. Option 2, we're going to pull out the recovery, but umbrella 1 is, it's giving you Medicare prescription coverage along with that heart attack, stroke policy that we recommend for all plans. So let's talk about Medicare supplement plans in a little bit more detail. Again, remember the exposures of Medicare. We don't have any out-of-pocket limits. We have that $1,676 hospital stay. And we're going to add on what's called a Medicare supplement plan, also called secondary or Medigap, because it fills in the gaps, supplements, or pays the bill second to Medicare. This is a chart pulled from the Medicare and You book. We recommend Plan G like George and like Nancy because they provide the most adequate coverage at the best price point for folks. And not every plan is offered in every market, by the way. So your zip code matters when we're choosing this plan. But if you look at Plan G, which is sort of highlighted here, you can see 100% down the whole row except for the Part B deductible. So when you choose regular Medicare with a G plan, if you're hospitalized, if you have medical issues, everything is covered 100% except for the Medicare Part B deductible, which is $257 for the year. Now, Plan N is very similar. It does add a small copay of $20 for office visits, $50 for emergency room. Additionally, it does not cover what's called a Part B excess charge. Skilled nursing with Medicare supplement plan. Remember, the first 20 days are picked up by Medicare. 21 through 100 will be covered with your G or N plan. If you're in for more than 100 consecutive days, you're paying the whole amount. And again, we love to show pictures of our smiling clients. Hi, Fran. So Plan G, what's it cost? Your zip code matters. Anywhere from 100 to 200, that's the average cost. That's a pretty big range. But if you provide us your zip code, we're going to be able to pull up an exact quote for you. So we can do that during our one-on-one session, give you exact rates. Plan G, Plan N, which is best? Well, that really all depends on you. Very similar. I call Plan G like our premium gas. You got a BMW, you need a G plan. Folks who like the ease of just paying a once-a-year deductible with no copays, the flexibility of choosing any doctor across the United States will want a G plan. The Plan N is going to be a slightly more affordable option. It's going to cost us about $40 more a month in the premium. Under either G or N, we're laying out the first $257 deductible for the year. And then the N plan is going to add in small copays for doctor visits, 20 here, 20 there, 50 for an emergency room. When is the best time to enroll? What are the key points about Medicare supplement plans? Well, first off, the government does not provide you a Medicare supplement plan. They are simply providing you Medicare A and B. So these plans, however, are standardized by the federal government, lettered A through N. Every G plan is exactly the same regardless of who you buy it from, so the government does standardize the structure of the plan. The best time to get one of these plans is when you are turning 65. About 6 months prior to, we can shop the plans, lock in on the lowest rate, make sure it's checked off your list. Keep in mind that if you want to buy a plan down the road, you could be closed out based on health. So when you're brand new to Medicare, you can get one of these plans 6 months before, 6 months after that timeline has passed. In order for me to sign you up to a G plan, an N plan, we are not guaranteed accepted in the future. So a lot of folks think, oh, I can get this down the road. You can't buy it after you've been diagnosed with cancer because they're going to pay 20% of your cancer claims. So the best time to buy it is when you're new to Medicare. Some of the companies that we work with, these are A-rated companies. Our job is to help you find the right company at the right price. We're not beholden to one or the other, but we do work with a lot of different companies throughout the whole United States. Prescription drug coverage. If you choose a Medigap plan, you will need a Part D drug plan. Medicare subsidizes our drug plan, so I know we're paying tax dollars into the system for a Part D drug plan. And in general, when you choose original Medicare, with a supplement plan, you will want to add a prescription drug plan in. These plans will have a monthly premium, and then you'll pay for your prescriptions at the pharmacy. Prescriptions that are generic will be low cost, $0 to $5. Name brands will cost you more money. We have 3 stages of a drug plan. We see changes of this all the time. Not all the time, but once a year we get the changes in the plans. Currently, we have a deductible stage. A lot of plans will have a deductible. The deductible can't be more than $590. Once the deductible is met, then you move into the initial coverage stage where you'll get your medications for about 25% of the cost. Generics, as I mentioned before, will be like $0 to $5. Name brands, however, expensive meds, $1,000 a month in the retail price, could cost you 25%, $250 for 1 month supply. So it could be quite expensive for certain drugs for certain folks. But the good news is in 2025, we've capped the out-of-pockets to $2,000. So once you reach $2,000 out of pocket, your copays go to 0. Now, going through a drug plan is not very simple. We have a 5-step process. What we do is we take a list of your meds, we put them into the Medicare's online calculator, we choose your pharmacy, and then we compare all the options in your zip code. And when we compare, we're comparing the monthly premium and the cost you pay as you go to the pharmacy. We'll help you shop the plans. We're looking for the overall lowest plan, and then we'll enroll you in that plan. Every year we reevaluate this for you because every year people's needs change and every year the plans do change. Currently we have about 10 to 15 plans offered in each market. It really depends on where you live. But just like an employer health plan, we have what's called the annual election period for drug plans, October 15th to December 7th, with a change of January 1. If you don't enroll in a plan, now some folks will say, I take no meds, I do not need a plan. There is a penalty for not taking a plan when you first become eligible, and that's 1% of the national average for every month that you didn't take a plan, and that penalty stays with you forever. So we strongly recommend that you sign up for a Part D drug plan when you first become eligible. So option 1 is Original Medicare. We're going to add on a supplemental plan, which the cost will vary based on where you live. And then we're going to add on a Part D drug plan, which the national average is around $40 a month. Option 2 is Medicare Advantage. Now, these plans are slightly different than what we just spoke about. Regardless of what you do, you have to sign up for Medicare itself. This plan is going to resemble an employer health plan. It is a managed care plan. It includes coverage, so it has to have coverage as good as Original Medicare, so it would have to have hospital and medical, and many plans will include prescription drug coverage. These plans are typically low in your monthly premium. Some of them are as low as a 0 premium. You still, again, pay your $185 for your Medicare B. But what you do have, like an employer health plan, co-pays, deductibles, co-insurance, and they must have an out-of-pocket maximum. So if you're going to the doctor, you're paying, especially if you pay for all your services up to the out-of-pocket maximum, which is running somewhere about $7,500 to $12,000. So if you had a more serious health issue like my hip surgery, you pay. Once I reach that $7,500, my costs go to 0. If you choose this option, we definitely recommend adding those extra plans, heart attack, cancer, hospital. We definitely want to make sure you're protected if you're choosing an Advantage plan. So choosing a plan is based on zip code. If you live in the state of New Jersey, you can't buy a California plan. Okay, so it's based on where you live. We're going to put your zip code into the plan finder. We're going to look at your doctors, hospitals, and your medications. We'll look at the extra benefits last, but when we're looking at which plan to recommend, if this is the option you choose, we're going to go right to what doctors, hospitals, and prescriptions you're using to make sure that's going to be a match for you. Then we'll get some of those extra benefits that we can have with the Medicare Advantage plan, like a gym, some dental cleanings, eyeglasses, and over-the-counter non-prescription coverage. How to sign up, when to enroll. Every year we have the opportunity to buy one of these plans or enroll in one of them, October 15th to December 7th. And the start date would be January 1. If you're new to Medicare, we're going to sign you up 3 months before you turn 65. We cannot sign up in this plan until you have a Medicare ID. So let's compare the two options one more time. Medicare Supplement, easy to have, gives you the flexibility to choose your doctor anywhere in the United States. No networks referrals, no prior authorizations. Will have a higher monthly cost on top of Medicare, but will have low out-of-pocket exposures. It eliminates those major exposures. Medicare Advantage plans typically are low in the monthly costs, higher in the out-of-pockets. There are networks of doctors. Not every doctor takes the plan, but this plan will include your prescription coverage and give you some of those extra benefits, eyeglasses, dental, gym membership, etc. Either way, we want to make sure we're eliminating exposures. We have our umbrellas policy. I wouldn't call them umbrella policies, but we have options that we recommend. We're always going to recommend the cancer, heart attack, and stroke with any of the plans that you choose. Depending upon you, we may recommend more or less. Filling in the gaps, so important. A lot of people, they start off because they're getting a ton of information about Medicare. We can't forget we're turning 65. They remind us every day. But they don't realize that Medicare isn't going to be everything you need. So we want to make sure that we're filling in those gaps. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, approximately 66.5% of bankruptcies in the United States are caused by medical bills. This means that medical debt is the leading cause of bankruptcy in our country. So when you need it most, we want to make sure you have the proper protection in place. That's long-term care, recovery care, the heart attack, stroke, cancer, hospital indemnity, dental vision. Those are some of the things that we can add into the mix of just Medicare. Medicare myths, a lot of misinformation out there, and we want to make sure we dispel that for you. So our first myth, and these are things that people bring up, they're a little bit confused about. I must have to pay a fee to use a broker and get their help with all of this. Well, we are independent brokers and we do not charge a fee. We don't ever charge a fee. Any broker who charges a fee is not permitted to enroll you in any type of plans. So there's no cost to use a broker. Myth number 2 is nobody works for free. So the insurance company must charge a higher price if we go through a broker like you. Well, that is not true. You pay exactly the same price whether you use our help throughout the process or you do it alone. The insurance companies pay us directly. We educate you and we help you enroll. So whether you go right to the insurance company or you use a broker like us, we can shop your plans. You're paying exactly the same price for the plan. And finally, myth number 3, if you get paid by the insurance companies, you must have a bias towards one company or the next. We have access to over 25 companies, probably even more in some of the major markets, and we get paid by the insurance company when you choose a plan and we enroll you. So our job is to help you. We're not biased one way or another. We work with the top carriers, and our job is to help you find the right plan. So I couldn't tell you exactly how much I get paid from each one. Where my job is to help you find the right plan for you. So the 3 truths about using a broker: no fees are charged. The price is the same whether you go directly to the insurance company or you work with a broker. And with over 25 companies to choose from, we are not biased. Our bonus, there you go. There's my handsome husband, Scott. And we work together. We are not just we are just not the Medicare Authority. We are also the Retirement Authority. And a lot of times what we found is that people ask me all kinds of questions, not just about Medicare, but they'll ask me about when they should start Social Security, what they should do with their rollovers from their retirement plans. And because of that, we really saw the need to help people as they're transitioning into the world of retirement and offer the right protection and direction for you. So we want to make sure that when you're in this phase of your life, that your money is safe. That is one of our chief goals. People have retirement money in different buckets. Maybe you have money in a 401k or Roth or 403b and a SEP. Those are employer provided benefits. You might have private money in a market account, mutual funds, individual stocks. And then some folks are maybe a little bit more conservative. We keep our money in savings checking and in CDs, money markets. So in retirement, what we do is we help you figure out if these are balanced correctly and if there are better options. Our job is to, again, make sure your money is safe, your principal is safe. We don't want you to have market risk. We want you to have growth. And we want to make sure that you don't outlive your money. And so we do our best to educate you. We have a free report that we can help you with. Down below is some information regarding that. You can also book an appointment with Scott, chatwithscott.com, if you want to talk specifically about your retirement funds. And we can do that at some point during our conversation about Medicare. So how do we work through the whole thing? I think we want to check off boxes. We want to make sure that we get each box checked and that you are stepping through Medicare and the whole process without anything falling through the cracks. Phase 1 is just getting educated. You're watching the video, you're learning about Medicare. You can get a copy of our Medicare breakdown book. We send out a wonderful envelope full of information about the cost of Medicare and so forth. You'll want to go to the Medicare.gov website. You can look for the Medicare and You book. That's the educational phase. And if you're watching this video, chances are you're here. The next step is to get your free consult. If you haven't already scheduled a consultation, make sure you do that. You're going to receive a personalized Medicare roadmap and a cost summary. We go through a step-by-step action guide. We want to make sure we put everything in place so that you know when you should be doing things. And then the final stage is really not final. We offer lifetime support. We have a team of people. It's not just myself and Scott. We have licensed brokers and we're contracted all over the country. We send you regular updates when things are happening in Medicare. We check your policies. We make sure we reach out to you during the important timelines like the annual enrollment period. And we reach out to you to make sure that your plans are safe and they're right for you because things change. So you should never have to worry about billing or claims or any of that. We pride ourselves on checking that with you, but we're just a phone call away. So if you haven't already done so, as I mentioned, you can go to MedicareByLenore.com and schedule a free call. I sincerely appreciate you guys listening the whole way through. Thank you so much.